Hello once again and welcome back to another episode of Father and Son Days, the unexplainable guide to absolutely nothing. Today is episode 30.
30?
Really hyped up today, and we are talking about the 1990s.
1990s?
1990s. Anyway, stick around if you want to hear more. "1990s, Dad."
1990s. What about that then? We've made it.
What was up with the accent?
I don't know. It just sounded a little bit like you tailed off into West Country.
Well, you did it first.
1990s, my lover. That's what they say, isn't it?
They only ever say 1990s. I don't know where the "my lover" comes from, but yeah, it's the 1990s is their classic catchphrase. Also, just want to briefly say, I say classic a lot in the last episode.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that, and I'd listened to these.
I'd go, classically, British people do this. Classically.
Oh, well, honestly, I've said, what was the word I kept saying over and over again? Something like unbelievably or mind-blowing or something like that. Yeah. And I say it all the time, so I won't worry about that.
I noticed it when we were recording it, and I...
Did you? So why didn't you stop?
And it was irritating. Well, I did try to, and then I think I even mentioned it, and then when I was editing it, I noticed it again.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So, 1990s. Yep. Oh, actually, before we get started, right, let's just track back. We like to just cover a few things. No word from Disney yet about the lemons. I'm starting to get quite irritated, but there we go. The other thing, you did bring up something the other day. You said that, I think it was in the 80s episode when we spoke about Gary's, and you said no one calls their kids...
I didn't say no one calls their kid
and
Gary.
You said, I quote, you said in 2019, you said, I bet hardly anybody called their kids Gary, right? Just to let you know, 33,757 babies were named Gary in 2019, and that was just in the US. So,
well, how about the UK, though?
I couldn't get those details.
Because I was talking about the UK.
Oh, was you? I'll come back next week and tell you how many there is. But I think it probably means there will be a significant amount. Well,
let's point out 33,000. What is the population of the US?
I don't know.
A lot more than that.
Yeah, but that's still 33,757 people who went, oh, should we call him Gary?
As a percentage, though, that's very small.
Yeah, well... Anyway,
so
I just wanted to meow, meow. So the 1990s, Conor. Should we do what we normally do? What do you remember the 1990s?
Well, for the first time ever, in these decade podcast, I was actually alive for part of the 1990s.
Was you?
Yeah, but only a year and 4 months of them.
Oh, so a bit like the 1960s for me, yeah?
Yeah.
So you're not going to contribute much again, are you?
Well, since then, see, the difference between the 1960s and the 1990s is TV, I feel, and music and such like that was so much like more easily accessible.
Yeah.
In the fact that, and was closer to my childhood and whatever. So
I presume, yeah, I guess a lot of the stuff's in the 90s carried on into the 2000s, so you would have had experience and been sort of exposed to that as well. Is that what you're saying?
And to a certain extent, it's held up a little bit better than some of the stuff from earlier years, like the 60s. I mean, I know you get, like, I'm going to say the word, classic TV, but when it comes to the 90s, it fitted into the modern era slightly better. There's still a lot of things that could have been done better. Yeah. It fits into that slightly better, humour-wise, a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 1990s were hugely significant.
Yeah, I mean, the Backstreet Boys, for one.
Well, yeah, to name but one, the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
All right.
I know you love them.
But, I mean, there's a bit of an elephant in the room. Something very significant.
There used to be an elephant in this room.
In the 1990s. There did used to be an elephant in this room.
It was a hamster, though, called Elephant.
Yeah, go back to Pets episode. And, you know, I don't want this to get too emotional and too sort of deep. But obviously the 90s was a time when I got married. And me and Mum got married in 1997, which, you know, one of the best days of my life. It was a little bit marred by the fact that Princess Diana got buried the same day we got married, but you know, we kicked on. We enjoyed ourselves. We celebrated it and all the rest of it. You couldn't even be bothered to turn up.
I wasn't
Your sisters
invited.
came. You didn't even come.
I wasn't invited.
No.
How rude.
So, you know, when I think back to the 90s, that's probably one of the biggies for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So rude.
No, I'm just saying. Well, it is. I got married. That is big. 24 years this year.
You also had a kid.
Well, you know. Okay. So...
Also,
right. Okay.
You also married into a family with 2 kids.
Another significant thing that happened in the 1990s then, yeah? So, yes, I'll give you a due. Jurassic Park opens at cinemas in 1993.
I cannot believe you. And the fact is, I'm fair enough. You mentioned about the wedding. You essentially gained 2 daughters that day as well.
Yes.
And a year later, I was born.
Well, I have got other significant times here anyway. So, you know, I think you're jumping the gun a little bit, because obviously I'm going to mention Euro 96 when we went out to the Germany in the semi-finals and we had a missed penalty and it was the day before my birthday. And I had to travel home.
How many birthdays did you have in the 90s?
Well, 10 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
did they come above me in the
no,
list
of course
of
they
things?
didn't. Obviously, on the 22nd of August, 1999, I can't even, I'm getting choked up.
Do you want to give it another go because you got the year wrong?
No, I went 1998. I would say 8, but I didn't say it. You were born on the 22nd of August, 1998, only a stone's throw from where we're sitting right now.
Hang on a second. Looks at watch. But today's the 22nd of August 1998 in a week's time.
Well, yes, it is. So, in a way, this is why this is going to go out on your birthday.
My birthday.
On your 23rd birthday. What about that, eh?
See, you were only 30 when...
Yeah. Seems only yesterday that we were up the hospital and sort of I was doing my usual, being
almost
really
passing
calm
out.
and collected and no, I wasn't very good. We did laugh, the midwife and me. I expected there to be someone with me and Mum all the time. And Mum obviously was calmer than I was, and she was in bed.
Well, she'd done, this was her third time, wasn't it?
Linked her up to the heart monitor. But they linked up so that you could hear the baby's heartbeat, or it would tell you.
So who's the baby?
You.
Oh.
But we didn't know it was you yet. You know, it was a baby. We hadn't been introduced to you at that point.
Did you shake my hand when I came out?
That's the first thing I did. Yeah, high-fived you. No,
that's one.
And no, so Mum was obviously had some gas in the air as well because she was having contractions.
She was incredibly high.
Yeah, and then the alarm sort of went off about your heartbeat. So I pressed the button. So that the midwife come in, she said, "Oh, what?" And she went and had a look. She said, "Oh no, it's just slipped a little bit. That's fine. That's okay." And I went, "I'm really sorry, you know." She said, "No, that's not a problem." 10 minutes later, I pressed the button again because it stopped giving that heartbeat out again. And she came in, and I went, "I'm really, really sorry, but I don't know if it slipped again." But obviously, she said, "No, don't worry about it. You know, it's fine." I think the 5th or 6th time that I pressed the button, she just came in and didn't say anything to me and just switched the thing off and then walked back out again. But you were all right. You came out nice and
Did I survive?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, you were okay. And you know, we had 2 girls, but we didn't know whether you were a girl or a boy. We still don't. No, we didn't know if you were a girl or a boy.
No, definitely a boy.
But you know, the midwife was there, and she delivered you. I think that's no.
Is that what you do
delivered.
now?
Yeah, I do that now. And I was with Mum. I didn't go near the business end because I didn't think I'd probably faint anyway. And you came out, and Mum said, "Oh, everything's okay." And obviously the midwife takes the baby and just cleans the baby up and blah, blah, blah. We said, "Oh," she said, "Oh, he's fine." And we said, "Oh, is it a boy?" And she went, "Oh, yes, yeah, it's a boy." And that was the first time we knew it was a boy, and we only had really one name for a boy.
I knew it was a boy. I'm right
Well,
here.
I'm just saying, all right, okay. And then she weighed you, and she just made sure your your mouth and your
weighed me, see
everything
how
clears,
much
all your
she'd get
airways
for me in
were
the
clear.
black market.
Yeah. And then we saw you and put you in the cot, and it was
like an old man.
You did look like a little old man because you had white sort of blonde hair, but it was kind of whiter and blonder on the top, so it looked like you only had hair around the sides, like
someone
an
old man haircut.
And and we always laugh about this now. I always went along the lines that a baby's a baby. The baby doesn't really look like its mum or dad because they're babies, and they, all their features and that are yet to develop. But we both looked at you in the cot and we went, wow, because you did look like my side of the family. You did look like a Harding.
I thought you were going to say, you did look like Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. You were really, really hairy, and it's been a nightmare since then having to shave you every day.
I was going to ask if you wanted to shave my back at some point.
No, thanks. No.
I've not got many hairs, just a couple of hairs
fine,
at the top.
No. So, yes,
I might have to get you to that before Annie's wedding.
Oh, yeah, we'll all get cleaned up before Annie's wedding.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it was a huge moment, and West Ham drew 0-0 with Man United. Savage Garden was playing on the radio. I'm looking at Conor now because his phone's buzzed.
Oh, because you just spoke about West Ham drew against Man United, but West Ham just beat Newcastle 4-2.
Away the lads. In my best Geordie accent. That's marvellous.
Does that mean now we can relax
now? Yeah. Yeah, so, and another thing was that obviously we've spoken before that the girls are my stepdaughters. They are my daughters, but officially they are my stepdaughters. So it was the first time that NJ was going to be a grandparent, and who is my mum. And so I remember phoning up,
Nanny Joyce,
who were all back at this house with the girls, and both nans were back here with the girls. And your
it's going to be easy if you don't say. It's going to be easy if you don't refer to them as my nan.
No, it's getting complicated. My mother-in-law answered the
nans.
phone, and I said, "Oh, I just want to tell everything's okay." And she said, "Hang on a minute," and gave the phone to my mum because my mum had never had that news straight away from someone before, and she'd obviously been through it, and I will never forget that. That was one of the most wonderful things, such a simple thing but such a wonderful thing to do. So I was able to tell my mum that we had a baby boy, Conor Terry George Harding. I don't mind putting my name on it because they know who my name is, don't they? I can say surnames.
You know that's my name, not your name.
Oh yeah, it's your name. It's not my name. No, sorry, I'm so confused. So yeah, I'm so emotional about it. I forgot. That's right. I'm David, aren't I? Yes, that's it. You should put our names on it and on the front of our shirts. I get very confused. So yes, obviously that was a major.
Was that genuine?
Yeah, it was genuine. I just got a little bit sort of. It's very emotional. It's very emotional. 1990's, very emotional. So, look, shut up. So, and there we are. And then that was it. And my life changed. It had already changed considerably. I'd been married in the 90s. With the girls, I'd become a dad to the girls, and then I'd become a dad to you. So it was incredible.
Well done holding yourself together there, Dad.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't.
It's now when I think about it, yeah. David, my name's David. I'll have to write it down on a piece of paper.
With fact check next week.
Yep.
In last week's podcast, I called myself Conor Terry George Harding.
So you've ruined it now because I could have used that next week for a fact check, couldn't I?
But we already corrected it.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh,
right.
I've forgotten what we're doing now.
90s. Right. Well, I talked about that we. I got married. Jurassic Park came out. We lost in Euro '96, and you were born. Really significant times. In a 1980s episode, I spoke about the Falklands conflict and that I was working and was concerned about being called up. I was in fact 13, so still at school. I was thinking about the Gulf War.
Fact check.
Okay, so that's another disclaimer gone. What else? So we talked about those particular momentous moments when I realised my name was Conor. So
We stop.
no, sorry. So other things. Let's talk about the sort of things that sort of emerged in the 1990s. So the phenomenon that is Friends
Yep.
started in the 1990s. Something that's it stopped a while ago now, but they just had a reunion, didn't they?
Have you heard that David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston may be dating?
I did hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Who told you?
I read it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I heard it from Courtney Cox.
Courtney Cox?
She phoned me up and told me.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder who that was. Right, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yep.
Now, I remember watching this, coming home from work. Now, I say coming home from work, I might have been like...
Yeah.
It might have been somewhere, because I keep getting things wrong. So, yeah, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and that went on. And again, they had reunions not too long ago, did they?
Oh yeah, they had. It
got
wasn't like
together.
the same extent as
No,
Friends, but they're doing they're talking about doing a reboot, weren't
Oh,
they?
are they? Oh, they shouldn't
I
do
think
that.
with Jaden Smith.
Oh, dear. The first Harry Potter book was published. So, little did we know at that point, when Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was released, what was going to happen. I mean, that just built up momentum. I think the actual...
Sorcerer's Stone for our US viewers, listeners.
Sorcerer's Stone, yeah, that's right, yeah. I don't think the first film came out to the 2001 or something like that, so, there was a little bit of time in there. It was a time of boy bands. It was a time of Take That, Boyzone, Westlife,
You seem uncertain.
Backstreet Boys. Well, I'm uncertain about everything I say at the moment, so...
Don't
and
know what
what
your
about
name is.
girl bands? The Spice Girls.
Yep.
Britney Spears.
It was not girl band, but yeah.
No, Britney and her Spears. And obviously, quite
Girls
a,
Aloud? Was that more noughties?
It might have been noughties, I'm not sure. Obviously, there was a big thing around Brit-pop. So it was quite a good musical time in Britain. I mean, obviously you had the main two that everybody you were supposed to be either an Oasis fan or you were a Blur fan. And every time they released something, it was almost competing. Every time there was an awards ceremony, they slagged each other off big time and offered each other, well, mainly Oasis, like Liam or Noel Gallagher, offering a fight at the others.
You can imagine that.
But obviously there was bands like Pulp and other bands.
You're forgetting all the other
that
bands.
I can't. Well, no, Suede and bands like that through the 90s. It was great. It was a really good time for bands, actually, and a lot of new bands
Yeah, I
coming
remember
through.
it fondly.
No, obviously you didn't. I hear what you say. You asking me what side I was on?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, if you're going to push me, Conor, I would say that I liked how inventive Blur were, and I probably like Oasis. As I've gone on, of some songs of theirs I particularly like. I just didn't like everything that went around Oasis. It's slightly better now. I mean, obviously they're not a band anymore, but when I've looked back retrospectively on it and watched some documentaries and that, it looks quite entertaining. But I think Blur were always pushing the boundaries of music. So I quite liked, and they were Essex boys as well, I suppose. I had that affinity with them.
Rather than
Affinity, not
Mancunians.
infinity. Huh?
Rather than Mancunians.
Well, not that I've got any problem with Mancunians, but in fact, there's one down there you were just talking to.
I'm really sorry. Ever since I really burst out laughing earlier when you forgot what your name was.
Okay.
When you laugh so much,
Yeah.
it makes your throat go a bit funny.
The other thing about music at that time was the rave culture.
Yep.
Now, that's something that completely passed me by, as did a lot of things like that. I wasn't ever particularly
A lot of things
clubber.
pass you by.
Yeah, a lot of things passed me by. But I think I think mainly, I mean, there used to be obviously warehouses. The word would get out; it'd be illegal most of the time anyway. And
They were called illegal raves.
Yeah, they were called illegal raves. There was a lot of drugs involved. I'm not saying that everybody, but there was a lot of drugs involved as well to get that extra high as far as it was concerned. To be honest, didn't interest me. The thought of being in a warehouse, I don't really like whistles. And I don't like having my shirt off. So, you know...
Hang on. There's been quite a number of podcasts now that I've recorded with you where you've not had a shirt on.
Yeah, I granted, in the last few months, I don't know if it's something medically or something to do with my age, I seem to not wear a shirt quite a lot of the time. A bit like, what's the guy's name?
I was going to say, it's like Friday Night Dinner.
Martin, is it?
Martin
in Friday Night Dinner, yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely bit of squirrel. So
I'm boiling.
But yeah, so, you know, the combination of that, it's not something that interested me. And I look back and I see there's people that I work with now that were part of that scene and they still miss it. And I suppose we all have our particular moments in time. Well, one of your favourites, Nelson Mandela was freed.
Free Nelson Mandela.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure you've heard that song for a long while, but yeah, that's the one, yeah. And because you loved him when you were younger, you had a bit of a thing about Nelson Mandela.
He used to wear really funky jackets, and
you
he used to
call
be really
him
popular. And I used to say he's a hippie that got lots of ladies.
No, you used to say the one with the cool shirts who got all the ladies. Now I'm not sure that's really. I don't think that was his
legacy.
No, exactly. That certainly wasn't his legacy. But obviously, he went on to become president of South Africa, which is a huge thing. Anyway, other stuff. Talking of huge things,
they say it's just about being the vice president.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Because I know we get a little bit mixed up with where people sit in the hierarchy within military, field marshal, colonel. Sergeant Major.
Right,
Titanic. One of the worst films ever made, right? That came out in the 90s.
A lot of people would disagree with you there, but
right.
Sure.
Well, no, they would, but they'd be wrong. Furbies.
Would you consider that to be worse than
AI?
AI?
No, nothing's worse than AI.
So it's not the worst film ever made?
No.
How about Titanic 2?
Electric Boogaloo. People do breakdance. Oh, no, it was the 80s, wasn't it? I should have done that in the 80s, really. I should have done a breakdance in the 80s episode. I should have span on my head in the middle of this room, which would have been very, very difficult.
Go on, do it
now.
now.
Two reasons. One, I can't do it, and the other reason is there's no room. What about... No, so I said Furbies, toys-wise. Furbies. Do you remember Furbies?
I do.
They were like little bewitched fluff balls,
like gremlins.
Yeah.
But before they turned bad.
Now, I don't know that you would. You might have had one in Tamagotchis.
Yep.
I know the girls did. Now, that was a bizarre sort of thing, wasn't it? It was all about, supposed to be teaching you how to look after a pet.
The problem is you get no schoolwork done because then you'd end up having to whack out your Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
Are you thrown off by the phrase they use, whack out?
Your Tamagotchi, I didn't know. If that
sounds
was
like
a
an
euphemism.
Whack out your Tamagotchi.
Yeah. We had a letter about that from your school. Teletubbies.
Yep.
Oh, dear. And Google.
Yep.
Now, obviously, Google, I mean, we wouldn't be able to do these podcasts if we didn't have Google. Because I get all my information from it, or I start from that point of view on Google, and
sometimes we do a fact check mid-podcast by using Google.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's incredible to think of a life without something like that. I know, people start shouting and say, "Well, you go to libraries, you look it up in reference books." But I'm sorry, I would do that, and I still feel the relevance of libraries, and I still think that's a wonderful way of doing research. And obviously, not everything you read online and Google and Wikipedia is going to be accurate, but it's a good starting point a lot of the time.
Did you know Netflix was founded in 1997?
No, I didn't. It's not
before
on my list.
Google.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Netflix? I didn't realise that. Was it in the same sort of context as it is now?
Oh, my phone's talking to me. I think it's because I keep saying Google.
Oh, that'll do it, won't it?
I think when Netflix first came about, it was sending DVDs to people and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you used to have the envelopes at people's houses, didn't they? Like zip sort of envelopes.
Netflix has been around for 23 years.
That's mad.
It's almost 24. It's the 29th of August 1997.
Wow, who'd have known?
It was called Netflix of Europe.
Well, DVDs. It was. I suppose that makes sense because that's when the 90s were when DVDs came through.
Yeah, it was a rent by mail thing. I think the same with Love Film, because actually Love Film was the one that Amazon bought.
Yeah, and that was the wrong one.
And then they made Prime Video.
Oh right, okay.
Did you know?
No, I didn't.
Fun bit of fact for you.
Yeah.
There was a deal that went on many moons ago with Blockbuster and Netflix, and it was about Netflix offering Blockbuster to buy them out.
Right.
And Blockbuster went, no, it's not going to work out, and they turned them down. And then obviously Blockbuster went bust. So that was the biggest mistake in potentially
in the history of mistakes.
In history of business.
It's still sad because bizarrely,
do you know what
quite a few Blockbusters places have still got the signage up. Have never been filled. That one. There's one down near where we live.
Do you know what the stock price currently is for Netflix?
No.
$515.92. If you consider if Blockbuster had bought them when they were purely just a rent by mail DVD service.
Yeah.
Imagine how much money they'd have now.
Well, you win some, you lose some, don't you?
Yeah.
Think on.
That was a bit of a. We went off a bit there. Because I wanted to Google. When was YouTube founded? But that was the noughties.
Google.
I can't believe Netflix is older than Google.
No, that is weird. I wouldn't have said that. I'd have put money on that not being the case. The Hubble Space Telescope.
Oh, what a marvel that is.
It is, though, isn't it? It was groundbreaking.
I realised the way I said that made it sound sarcastic, but I was being genuine.
It did sound very sarcastic. Obviously, it went up in one of the shuttles. I can't remember which one. But I read a little bit about apparently it didn't work. There was a fault in the lens at first, so they had to send people up there to mend it.
Yeah, they did.
But are they still using it? Is it still used?
Didn't they have to mend that completely free of any attachments, I believe, or something like that?
I don't even know what that means.
As in they weren't harnessed.
Oh, what you mean the people out there doing it? They had to spacewalk freely without any harness. Why would they not have a harness?
Or maybe they would harness to the space shuttle, I don't know. But they didn't. It
seems an unnecessary
but I think it's because there was, I don't know, I might be making this up. I probably am.
I think you might be. Anyway, but I mean, is it still used now? Are we still using
Hubble,
it? Yeah. Has it been? I presume it can be updated, and they're probably
it's got Windows 10 now. I think they're about to upgrade it to Windows 11.
You could do like, I bet you can Photoshop on it, put yourself next to things.
You can Photoshop yourself next to a Andromeda Galaxy.
Black hole. Yeah, no, quite.
You could put your mother-in-law on the black hole and stuff like that, depending on
but
the supermassive black hole in the middle of the galaxy.
Supermassive black hole, yeah. So
black
hole. But I think it is significant in the fact that now things from the 90s.
I just realised what I just said made it sound like I was being rude to Nan. I wasn't. I was just saying in general people's mother-in-laws. Just thought I'd clarify there.
Yeah, fair enough. I wasn't really thinking along those lines anyway, but I think something like, as I said, the things that happen in the 90s do roll on. I mean, things like Jurassic Park. Obviously, you didn't watch it for many years, and probably, I don't know when the second and third one came out in the first sort of trilogy.
It's a bit rubbish of me, wasn't it?
But you wouldn't have watched them then. But now it's stuff that you're really invested in. You've gone back and watched them and
similarly Star Wars.
Yes, absolutely. From that sort. One thing that always makes me laugh.
Wasn't the first Star Wars film in the 80s?
77.
77.
Second one was in the 80s.
Second one was in the 80s.
Yeah.
There was a couple of them in the 90s. Was there one in the 90s? Was there any in the 90s?
Phantom Menace must have been late 90s, maybe.
Late 90s. Because I remember...
I don't know that for sure, actually.
Attack of the Clones, I believe, was probably early noughties, but I know that the... I've lost it now.
Have you?
Revenge of the Sith?
What, you talking about the third one?
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was right. Yeah,
Attack of the Clowns.
yeah.
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith definitely was, because I remember going and seeing that in cinema.
Well, one thing that I will never forget, because I saw Jurassic Park in the cinema, and even for me, who'd been to the cinema more recently, it was groundbreaking what they'd done and the sound. But I took your nan, NJ, to that. There was a big family of us in there. And I think the last time she'd been at the cinema, and I'll probably get a complaint about this, probably someone came up to the front playing an organ. But she watched it, and it blew me away, let alone her. But it will always be remembered for the scene where the two children are in with the lawyer in one of the cars, and the T-Rex comes out, and then the lawyer gets out of the car and runs off. And everybody all the noise was from the screen. Everybody else was really gripped and really tense.
Yeah.
To which she said, "Oh no, he's left the kids." And that will live in my memory forever. I think everybody sort of smiled and laughed at that, and so did she, but she thoroughly enjoyed that. But there you go.
Sometimes you can't hold in, like screaming Ghost Stewart.
Ghost Stewart used to do it a lot when you were young.
That once in Stuart Little.
Oh, a lot. Loads of times. Okay, so our little musical interlude, thumbs up, Conor.
Yep.
Does it stay up all the time that I'm speaking?
Yeah, I put it up so you can start speaking, but I decided not to bring it back down again.
Okay, then.
I thought it would confuse you. Now watch if I do this, watch.
Oh.
What does that mean?
I'm mesmerised. So basically, I went all over the place this week with my music. So I wanted to write a song in a sort of boy band, but seeing it was only me, that makes it quite difficult. So I decided, because it's the 90s, because it's about you. Well, no, it's not about you, but it is about you. Because you were born in the 90s, I've written the song about you. So, I hope it touches you like it's touched me in the nicest possible way.
Right, okay. I'll hit play.
Okay.
It was Saturday lunchtime in the fall, when you came into my world as a pink and wrinkled ball. You looked like an old man with small feet and tiny little hands. We brought you back home to be cuddled and fed, but all I saw was the back of your sister's head. We introduced you to the Nans. You were so white, you made us look like we were tanned. Hello, son, how are you? There's no limit to what you can do. You can be anything that you want. Don't let anybody tell you different. As you grew, you had me close to tears. With those 5 words, Dad, I've got an idea. You haven't changed a bit. You're still lovable, but a cheeky little git. 23 years since you came out of your mum. You're much the same, just a slightly hairy bum. You can walk, talk, and your voice is pretty deep. You've got an enormous pair of feet. Hello, son, how are you? There's no limit to what you can do. You can be anything that you want. Don't let anybody tell you different.
Wow, that seemed a bit more emotion than we normally do.
Well, it's quite special, isn't it? It's quite a... Well, you know, I mean, I do have a bit of a dig at you through there, but
I mean, it started off low, and then there was a little bit of a joking about my hairy bum in the middle, and then back onto that's not me laughing, is it?
No. You were so miserable when you were young. We couldn't get any samples of you laughing, so I
it
had
was
to
always
use
muffled by Becky's hair, wasn't it?
Stunt baby for that, huh?
It was always muffled by Becky's hair.
Yeah, you couldn't really hear anything through her.
Yeah.
Hello, mate. All right, mate.
Yeah, because my laugh
She was
is much
incredibly
deeper.
cockney as well when she was little.
She was really cockney.
She
wasn't
was really cockney, yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I thought it was important to mark the occasion.
Now on to a game.
On to a game.
Game time.
Woohoo!
Okay, so this week's game. Not got a lot to live up to with previous games I've done, but I've tried to go just under the bar yet again. So
Right.
I thought, what happened in the 1990s that we could just sort of use as something slightly different? And I thought, do you know, Jurassic Park came out in the 1990s.
I didn't know that. You haven't mentioned
I've
that.
talked about that, and I know how you love dinosaurs. So I've got a bit of a quiz for you this week. So I've got a sting, and then I'll go into more detail afterwards.
All right. I'll play the sting.
Here's a game, what's in store? Can you tell real dinosaurs from the ones I made up a little while ago? Hope your score isn't terribly low.
I put my thumbs up, Dad.
All right, okay, sorry, I didn't see that. I haven't got my glasses on. Right, what the idea of this game is, right? So, dinosaurs, some of them have got some very funny names, right? So, mostly the names mean something. So, you know, Tyrannosaurus Rex means something. I can't tell you what, because that's not one of the ones I looked up. I should have done, because it might have made sense now, but I didn't. Right, so I'm
There's
going
always
to tell
hindsight,
you,
isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to tell you a name of a real dinosaur, and then I'm going to give you 3 options of what that name means. It's usually Greek that it's translated through, Latin Greek it's translated through. So I will say to you, for example, and this is your first question anyway, but we'll just go straight into it. Number 1, Erectopus. Erectopus. Now, that was a dinosaur.
Right.
What does Erectopus mean?
You shouldn't Google that one.
Does it mean A, stiff cat, B, upright foot, or C, straight-legged? And I might be able to help you here, because I've gone through some archive footage, because they have archive footage of dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
And gone through the Natural History Museum's information, and I've got an actual picture of an Erectopus there,
right?
Which I'll put on our website for people to look at.
More work for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. And you've given it whiskers.
I have given it whiskers because it's an Erectopus. That's why. So would it be stiff cat, upright foot, or straight-legged?
Upright foot.
Upright foot is correct. Well done. That
It looks like it's
picture.
upright.
It
I
is
was stuck
upright.
between straight-legged and upright foot, but I was thinking it's going to be upright.
Number
isn't it?
2. Number 2. Fukisaurus.
Fukisaurus.
Fukisaurus. Does that mean
What are we going to do for the dinosaurs episode?
Fuki lizard, keen-eyed lizard, or really dangerous lizard?
What was the first one?
Fuki lizard, keen-eyed lizard, or really dangerous lizard?
And it's a Fukisaurus.
It's
So
a
the first one was
Fukisaurus.
first option was Fuki lizard.
Yeah. He sounds like one of those. Do you think he saw us? Do you think he saw us, Rex?
That's when you say it to your dog, didn't you?
So,
That's when you say it to your dog.
yeah. So which one is it?
Keen-eyed saurus? Keen-eyed lizard?
No,
Is it
it's
Fookie-saurus?
lizard, because it's from a region called Fookie.
See, I thought it would probably be Fookie
Probably
lizard.
not
but
pronounced like that.
You were laughing too much at Fookie lizard.
I'm
That's what put me
sorry.
off. I was going to say it.
So the next one.
Do you have no picture for that one?
No, I've only got. You can't get pictures of all these things,
Right.
And I didn't have
What,
time.
from your pen?
Yeah.
He's coloured them in as well.
I have coloured them in. They're fantastic. Right, number 3.
I'm putting them on the fridge.
Gallimimus.
Oh, Gallimimus. I know
Right.
that one.
So does that mean Gallimimus?
It's a bit like an ostrich looking thing.
Bird impersonator, chicken mimic, or turkey twizzler?
What's happened to your laugh?
I don't know.
You've got
I'm
a
losing my
wheezy.
voice. So is it bird impersonator, chicken mimic, or turkey twizzler?
It's one of the first two. It doesn't look too much like a chicken. It looks more like just a bird. It looks more like an ostrich, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm going to go for bird impersonator.
I'm afraid you're incorrect. It's chicken mimic that stands for. Okay, on to number 4.
I was close.
Gobbisaurus. Gobbisaurus. Is that a big mouth lizard, a spitting lizard, or a desert lizard?
Big mouth lizard.
No, I'm afraid if I'd have said it right, as a Gobisaurus, it's a desert lizard because
Right,
it was found
from
in the
the Gobi
Gobi Desert.
region. Yeah.
So I misled you a little bit.
You did.
You'll like this one. Number 5. Iguana colossus.
Iguana colossus.
Iguana colossus. Is it big iguana, massive lizard, or enormous iguana? You
What's the
love the
first
way
one?
I say iguana. Big iguana, massive lizard, or enormous iguana? Iguana colossus.
Big iguana.
It is big iguana. Well
Why
done.
you got an iguana?
Iguana.
Why are you saying it like that?
That's it. That's how I say it. Iguana.
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 Say queen. Say queen.
Eh?
Say queen.
Queen.
Queen. That's basically what would be the alternative.
No, it's something ridiculous. Number 6. Microceratus. Microceratus.
You repeated it, but you said it wrong.
Microceratus or ceratus, right?
Yeah.
Does it mean little hand,
He did an
Tiny
impression of a little hand.
tiny feet,
What's his face
or
about?
small horned? Little hand, tiny feet.
small horned.
Small horned is correct.
Because that's the keratin and stuff like that, isn't it?
Well, see, there is logic to it, and that's where you get derived the names of these things from Latin and Greek and whatever.
Thank
Anyway,
you for explaining it.
thanks. No, I just thought I would because you look confused. Number
Right.
7, Saltosaurus. Right, used to hang around with Vinegarosaurus. Saltosaurus.
Not
right?
Rediosaurus.
Is it a lizard from Salta? A salt lizard? Of kinda like a lizard. Is it
Some of these
Saltosaurus?
Yeah.
Is it the lizard from Salta? A salt lizard? Or kind of like a lizard?
You enjoyed doing some of these, didn't you?
I'm very tired all the time these days. So.
A lizard from Salta.
It is a lizard from Salta because, again, it's a place.
Yeah.
What about, and I've got a picture of this in a minute, what about a volcanodon?
Volcanodon.
What about a volcanodon? Is it a pointy-eared tooth? Is it a volcano tooth? Or is it a two-fingered lizard? A volcanodon.
I like the way that all of those are trying to push off the Vulcan.
Is it a pointy-eared tooth, a volcano tooth, or a two-fingered lizard? And here's a picture of it, right, in its natural habitat.
Wow, you've drawn some ears on that, haven't you?
Yes. That's actually how it looks.
And it's wearing a Star Trek uniform. What's going on with your laugh? You're so wheezy.
Right.
Show me again. Show me again. No, it didn't.
Look.
Why is it covered in camouflage?
That's what the colours they were.
Oh,
Very
right.
green and black.
You didn't.
Green and brown.
I reckon it's because you couldn't be bothered to colour in the whole thing.
I didn't colour the whole thing in, no.
Right. You've drawn more than 2 fingers.
What?
2 toes.
Yeah, but when it walks like this. Oh, like that.
Right.
Right, anyway.
So what was the things again?
Oh, so it was a pointy-eared tooth, volcano tooth, or 2-fingered lizard.
Pointy-eared tooth?
Yeah.
What was the other one?
Pointy-eared tooth, volcano tooth, or 2-fingered lizard. Volcanodon.
Volcano tooth.
Yes, it's volcano tooth. Right, what about this next one? Afro Venator. Afro
Is this one
Venator.
got a picture?
Yep.
Yep, thought so. I knew this one would. Just because the first bit right, it's got an afro.
So an Afro Venator, does it mean big-haired, Africa hunter, or curly-topped? Afro Venator.
African hunter.
Yes, it's African hunter. These are too easy, aren't they?
Wow.
Number 10, Bambi Raptor. Bambi Raptor.
Right, there's going to be something to do with a deer.
Deer bird,
Right.
wobbly thief,
Oh my god.
or Bambi thief. So, Bambi Raptor, deer bird, wobbly thief, or Bambi thief.
Raptor's something to do with bird, so deer bird.
It's Bambi thief.
Oh, right.
Unlucky.
I didn't.
Okay,
I made that up, to be honest. But,
number 11. How are we doing for time?
we've got some.
Yeah, I've got 2 more then.
All right.
Is that all right? Have I got time for 2
Got
more?
2 dances to show you.
Yeah, 2 dances. This one. Peace. Camptosaurus.
No one will understand that.
Camptosaurus. Well, most of the things we say are a joke between us two anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Camptosaurus, right? Luckily, I haven't got a picture of this. Is it a flexible lizard? Is it a bendy lizard? Or is it an effeminate lizard?
Oh, wow.
Camptosaurus.
What was the middle one?
Bendy lizard.
What was the first one?
Flexible lizard. And effeminate lizard.
Right. Bendy lizard.
I'm afraid
Flexible
it's
lizard.
flexible lizard. Unlucky Conor.
I was
And
stuck
your
between the 2.
final one, Diplodocus. You've heard of that one, haven't you?
Yeah.
Diplodocus.
I've heard of a couple of ones, you said.
Does Diplodocus mean magic lizard, double beam bones, or stupid towel?
Wow.
It could be any of
It's
those.
normally the third one. It just sounds like you've given up.
No, some of them were the third ones. So is it Diplodocus? Is that like Diplodocus?
Double beam bones.
Yes. See, that was... I don't really understand that. Well, apparently it's in its tail. It's got sort of double beamed bones.
Yeah, and it's also
that's why it's called like that.
Diplo sounds like 2, you know.
Oh, yeah, of course. I thought Diplodocus, like it's hocus pocus. That's why I put magic lizard.
Right.
Right, that's at the end of my little game. You done quite well. Well done.
What score did they get?
You got something like 9 out of 12, I think. Maybe 10 out of 12. No, maybe 8 out of 12. No more than that. But it was still well.
Maybe 7
over
out of 12.
Over 50% right.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No,
All right.
I am absolutely sure. So I'll put those pictures on the site a bit later on.
What website would that be?
It's the Father and Son's Days. It's the fatherandsundays.com.
Well, this is 30 episodes we've been doing this, and sometimes he forgets the name of the podcast.
I do quite often forget everything, where I am, who I am, because
Yeah, you do.
because I'm
You do.
Conor Harding, if you want to know. So Yes, so it's fatherandsundays.com, and on there we've got our site.
It'll be
for
in the What's New section.
It'll be the What's New section, along with all the other bits and pieces like the merchandise shop we've got on there, any blogs that we've got on there, you name it. If we put it on there, it's on there. so I really need to go and have a lie down, I think. I'm so excited that West Ham won their first game of the season, when they were 1-0 down and then 2-1 down. So that's me done.
Are you done? You off now?
I think so, yeah. See you later then. So what else have we got to cover? Anything in particular? How are we doing?
Well,
how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. You okay?
No. Getting a bit hot.
Oh wow, you are hot, aren't you?
No, don't. No. I am hot. That's why I won't wear a shirt normally.
Yeah, I'm really warm. It's all that laughing.
Yeah,
it's a good sign though, isn't it? Just to briefly mention then, before we go, one of my friends just did a big walk along coast to coast. Joseph, he's done incredibly well.
Yeah,
do you think you could do something like that? Walk from one coast of the UK to the other?
I think, if I'm honest, I would love to do something like that. I think it would be a huge challenge, but I think I'd give it a good go.
Took him 2 weeks.
But in 2 weeks, I know, and I've looked at the sort of progress he's made mileage-wise, and he's done some really tough days. Yeah. And the weather as well has been quite unkind to him at times. But no, good for him.
Imagine some of the camping places would be really cool and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think he's met a few new people and all the rest of it. But no, kudos, as us people in the running and walking community say, kudos to Joe. He's done a magnificent job.
Magnificent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I might even sign and send him one of my pictures as a bit of a...
Do you reckon?
A prize, yeah.
I might hold you to that.
Yeah, okay, I will do. I think I'm going to send him the Afro... I think my favourite's the Afro Venator. I think you might get that one.
All right, well, I don't know when we're going to give it to him.
I don't care.
Just going to post it for his door?
Yeah, I might do, yeah.
You're a postman, you can do that
well
thing.
Done.
You're trained, aren't you?
I'll dress up properly for it and then go down and we'll take a picture.
What do you mean dress up properly? You're going to dress up as the dinosaur?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Anyway.
You might have to do this next weekend because this podcast won't go until next weekend.
That's very true, yeah.
And
he wondered what the hell was going on otherwise.
And there's stuff going on next weekend, isn't there?
There is. There might be a certain person's birthday.
Which is today.
Yeah.
Because it's today's
happy birthday,
my
Conor.
pretend birthday, isn't it?
Happy pretend birthday,
See,
Conor.
You've done better than...
Do you feel 23?
Not yet, because I'm still 22. Done better than I did on your birthday.
Yeah.
I remember right at the end.
Yeah, I had to remind you right at the end. Terrible. Anyway, so...
I still reminded you, though, to be fair.
No, that's fair enough, yeah.
All right.
I'm done then.
You're done then? All right. Well, I'm going to fill in where you left off with the website thing. There's also a contact page, so remember you can leave questions, suggestions, comments, complaints on there. They'll be great to hear. Yeah, they'll be great to hear.
Yeah, here.
Yeah. We got all the Apture episodes available on the website as well, but you can also listen to the podcast on any of your chosen platforms. We're on pretty much all of them as far as I'm aware. I think there might be one I had trouble with, but I'm not going to mention it.
Okay.
And yeah, so you can subscribe to us on there. You can also leave reviews on certain ones like iTunes. You can leave a review in there if you want to do so. That'd be fantastic. And also we've got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can like and follow us on all of those. That'd be very helpful. But yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
let's just say goodbye then.
It just seems so sad.
I've enjoyed that today.
Yeah,
it's been a good one.
Yeah, and it's much like the other decade episodes where we go off topic and end up.
Oh, what the hell! Next week we've got one topic.
One topic.
Well, we've got one topic every week, but next week we've got a topic that we can really concentrate on and solve the mystery.
Oh, we're going back to mysteries, are we?
We are.
And some kind of, I've forgotten the name for them now, but
unexplained.
That and something theories. What's the word?
Conspiracy theories. I'm not sure conspiracy theory fits in with it. We might be able to make a couple up.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll work on that for next week.
But yes, anyway, so next week we go back in time somewhat and cover a subject.
Go back
it's
to our root.
it's the Loch Ness Monster we're going to talk about next week, all right? I don't know what I was fanning about a bit there, talking all around. So that's what we're talking about next week.
All right. We're off now.
Bye.
Thank you for listening.
See ya.
Bye.